Arriba. What did you think of that?
That was probably like a 2 out of 10.
Yeah? Why did you say that?
I messed up so much more than I thought I would. Like,
It always happens. It always happens that way, man. It always does.
yeah, like I completely forgot there were 2 more bars they were supposed to play on the 4th movement. So,
It's give or take. If you end a bar early, it's not the end of the world, but yeah.
Then 3rd movement, okay, like both excerpts pretty much like fell apart completely, especially the scherzo.
Mhm.
And then there was like that moment in the
In the soft.
after letter B where like I have no idea why, but I just like completely forgot how to play that, even though it was like the same stuff as the beginning.
Yeah, it's very delicate to immediately. You've been playing so loud for so long to just take it all away is a really, really tough thing to get your hand under.
Yeah.
Right? It's no fault of yours. Everyone has that, right? Going to that piano stroke, it really breaks a lot of people. It's a really tough skill to go, and the last move of that will be to make it a diminuendo. Bum, ba-ga-digga-digga, dum, digga-digga. Right? Going diminuendo, so going 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, all the way down, and picking a new dynamic that goes all the way to piano is one of the most difficult parts of this whole thing. So there's no shame in not being able to immediately jump from forte to piano. Nobody really can. It's a magic trick more than anything. Good. No, I thought this was really good. Let's go in order. At the beginning, I think as you add a little bit more speed, I would move away from the bridge just a little bit and look for a sort of sweeter, more round tone. It's a little bit driven, it's a little bit into the string, which makes it sound a little bit nasal. Not necessarily in a bad way, because you'll need that sound elsewhere, but it's a little bit overdriven. I think if you think more about filling the bass with both speed, you'll have a much more lyrical line tone, and it'll flow forward a lot more. I think the stroke was you're looking to save bow, which creates a lot of tension, and it's going to make that sort of tentative, a little bit scratchy sound. And if you think about if you know you've left yourself enough space, then you'll be able to use the whole bow and not think twice about it.
Yeah.
What bowing did you end up going with?
I was doing what you said to do, the 7/5.
Yeah, it's a nice move.
I think a few times I split it by accident, but
there's 1 or 2 measures where it's not the best. But I think that's a perfectly acceptable bowing. It's a little less in vogue than it used to be. It was very popular in like 70s through 90s. It's the Toscanini NBC symphony bowing. So it was used, and I think the Zimmerman book has it in a lot of places. That 7 and 5 feeling. But be prepared when you play it in orchestra. That likely won't be the bowing that's chosen. The reason it's chosen is because that 5-note bowing is an excuse to use more bow speed. So it's less a chance of saving on the 7 than it is of you finding a tempo where you can play 7 notes in one bow nicely, and then using more speed to shoot that forward into the next measure when you only have 5.
Is it more common like to do 6 and 6?
6 and 6, 4 and 4 is also done. I have done it once where half the section did 4 and 4 and the other half did all separate. Hated that. Sounds like trash.
4 and 4 common?
Yeah, unfortunately. Conductors think they know how to do bowings, and they don't. So they'll give you a bowing and tell you it's gospel, and it will be the worst thing you've ever seen. So there's a pretty solid guarantee that unless it's a really famous conductor, they're not going to have it together. Especially if there's someone who's like cellos and basses need the same bowing all the time, which I don't agree with that as a general principle, because it's just 2 different instruments. But many people will say it just doesn't look right or whatever. It offends their delicate sensibilities. So people are going to come in and say, you must do this bowing. Or God forbid we do the whole measure in one bow, right? And you just are dying every single measure, I've seen that too. Good. In the second one, that 32nd note stroke is exactly what you should be going for. Bum, 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 bum. It's nicely wide and fat, and it still has that projection of every note. That's exactly what you should be doing. No accent, 194 on C. Bum, ba, ba, bum, ba, 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 ba. Right, there's a little.
Yeah, I think the tendency tendency is like that because
Yep.
of that like big jump.
Yep, yep. Give yourself time. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, be delicate with that. It almost sounds like it has sforzando in it. Just be careful. In the scherzo, I think you had good pacing at the very beginning. I thought your pacing was excellent, but once you got to that fermata, when you came back, I thought you lost some tempo. So the rest of it, I thought was a slightly slower tempo than the beginning. So just be careful. I like to think ba-ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-ba-bum. If that is a workable tempo in your mind, then that's how it goes. This movement, this whole piece goes ba-ba-ba-bum, 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 da-da-da-da. It's all based on this sort of idea. Bum, bum, ba, da-dum-dum-dum-dum-da, right? Bum, 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 ba. It has that 3 shorts and a long every single time, and somewhere in every movement. And finding that is going to be what you need to key in on. The hard one. Try. I want you to try it one more time, and I want you to get 2 pulses of vibrato on the F before you shift to the A. Don't slow down. Don't do anything different. Just wiggle a little on the F before you go. You prepared the shift really well, but the F was cut a little bit short.
Okay.
Try one more time. Yeah, yeah. And I like it all down. You can make it. I promise you'll make it. Especially if it's just one click quicker, you can do the whole thing in a down mode. So I swear that shift is easier to make at the tip. I don't know why, because all shifts are harder at the tip, but that one kind of works.
Yeah.
You got to the tip, you did it in 2 eventually, but boy, that's a hard start. Up bow, coming from that low F. I like it all in one down. Something to think about.
Yeah.
A little bit more pronunciation on the low E flats. They were a little bit muddy, just because that's a low string and it's hard to articulate. Think of making more accent on the top note, but you really have to punch out the low E with your right hand. As long as you're making sforzando on the long notes, you'll be fine, and it won't sound like too much.
Yeah. Would you kind of drop your arm a little?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Almost like you're pizzicatoing with the bow almost. And speaking of pizzicatos with the bow, let's work backwards in the trio. The last notes of the trio, bum, 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 bum. Try those from the string, bowed pizzicato. So you pull the string just a little and then release it. Dum, dum, dum. Kind of pet the kitty, you know?
Yeah.
Piano. Piano. A little bit less. You can get a little bit less and a little bit of pop. Have you tried them all down? Bingo. Yeah. Shorter. Okay. Pull the string just a 1/16 of an inch to the right. Just let it go. Your left hand is doing the work. Yes. Piano. I like it. I like them all down, and I like them with that bowed pizzicato feeling. I think your quarter note stroke in the trio can have more attitude. Get it off the string. You should be coming off the string, and that'll give it that attitude and that drive that it needs to go forward. Try from the beginning and come off the string and think attitude on those quarter notes. Move closer to the bridge. Yep. That's it. Even more. You can do even more. Dun, 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 dun. It's rustic. It's a country dance sort of thing. And the more those quarter notes can pop, You're supporting. Other people are playing the eighth notes underneath you, but it needs that insistence. Good. That's pretty much all I have. The other thing, like I was saying to Josh, is crescendo up to the top. Get longer, stay more on the string, and think legato coming up at the top of that. The other thing, just similar to Josh, you're a little late off the ties, and right? Think of the tie as a rest, not a tie. Right? It turns into a rest almost every time. Regardless of style period, a tie, the note it's tied into is just a rest.
Okay.
They just didn't write a rest for some reason. Good, really, really good.